Welcome to another episode of Cosplay Cafe, where we are serving up a hot steaming cup of cosplay. Tonight's episode is old school anime. We were a little iffy on when the old school cutoff was. We kind of went with early 2000s and before, which yes, makes some of us feel old, myself included. But welcome. We're glad you're here. We have a great show in store for you. First, credits. All right. So first of all, Crayle can't be here because she is busy with Hall of Heroes Con. If you are in the Northern Indiana area, stop in and see her at her Pokeballs by Crayle booth. She's going to be there all weekend, and you definitely want to check out her crafts. But my lovely and talented co-host Andrea is here. Hello, Andrea. How you doing?
Hello. Other than tired, I'm good. It's been a long day already.
I'm glad you're here. You look beautiful. We're
Thank
both
you.
tired, but you know what? It's Friday.
When are we not tired? We're the Incredible Hulks of tired. We're always tired.
That's our secret. Yes.
That's our secret. We're always tired.
And this week we have a guest that I'm going to geek out over because I am pretty much obsessed with her show. Um, and we're gonna say this word even though we usually try to keep a family friendly show. Her show is Shit Cosplayers Say. If you all haven't given it a listen, you need to. Probably not at work, probably not when children are around, but Elle and Ash, her co-star Ash, are just fantastic. They're a wealth of knowledge. They're hilarious. I adore them. They're also super, super talented. So Elle is here with us. Ash couldn't make it. She had a scheduling conflict, but we are so happy to welcome you, Elle. Hello.
Hello.
And you are
Welcome,
looking
welcome.
fantastic.
Thank
I
you.
really love this costume.
You've got to, if you're going to do old school anime, you have to do Sailor Moon. Somebody has to.
Yes.
It
was everyone's gateway drug into anime in the US.
I mean, really, if it wasn't Sailor Moon, then it was probably like Gundam Wing or Dragon Ball Z. So, hey,
100%.
My husband was Dragon Ball Z, 100%.
Right? Kudos to saying the podcast name. We can call it SCS. We get it. It's all good. Stay tuned for our first episode of season 4, which comes out March 19th, because we have some changes coming that are going to make us more universally friendly. So you'll have to stay tuned, because most of our episodes are really PG-13. It's our title that gets us.
They really are. And you know what? I just want to say your episodes are really relatable, and I like that you tackle some heavy issues in with some of the fun issues. So I really enjoyed your episode about mental health and cosplay, and that really hit home with me. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. Yeah, those have been, it kind of evolved. It has a sassy name because we thought we were just gonna, blab about things and like go to cons and then blab about cons, and then the pandemic happened. Because our show started 2 weeks before the pandemic.
Oh my gosh.
So
I think everybody's thing is, and then the pandemic happened.
So then the show really evolved, and so a lot of our professional lives kind of evolved into the podcast. So like I'm an occupational therapist. Ash does a lot with like diversity and inclusion and crisis management. So we kind of went from this is super silly to, oh, we're going to cover like why people cheat in contests, but like the science behind it and the science behind, sandbagging. And yeah, it's been a ride. So.
And it's been delightful. Like, I've loved following it, and you two also keep the humor even in the more serious episodes, and so I really appreciate it. I promise this whole hour won't be an advertisement for your show, but
Absolutely
But
not.
it won't not be an advertisement for
I
the
mean,
show either.
There's like 70 plus episodes. Y'all can go listen to it another time, right?
yes, we highly recommend it. So let's first of all talk about the theme. So, what's your favorite old school anime?
Well, and as you kind of hit the nail on the head, old school is so subjective depending on what age you are. Being in my late 30s, I think of like the early 2000s as like my old school land. I would say that Revolutionary Girl Utena is still way up there in my old school repertoire. And X 1999. So classic Clamp that they never finished in true Clamp fashion.
Clamp is one of my biggest loves. If you don't know anything about Clamp, look them up. You'll find the most beautiful costumes ever.
And
ever.
they never make sense, and the references never match twice.
No.
Ever.
Man,
So
much with anime.
I've made Clamp competition costumes, and those are fun to try and reference.
I'm working on Hinoto right now from X, and there's no consistency in her references. So I'm just like, this one looks good. Yeah, I think I want that color. I don't know.
Pick this part, that part.
Close your eyes.
Yeah, and then
throw dartboard.
Well, and the construction never makes sense because they're usually based off of some sort of traditional Asian garment, but you have to figure out which one or which ones. But then the layering doesn't make sense. So you're like, wait, how does she have this many layers? Because you literally can't. So,
no.
How does physics work?
But that's
They
Clamp.
still have like their little tiny waists, but they would be so padded out with like the OBs and all these other layers. But they're beautiful.
They are. I mean, they used to be the thing. Like before Sakizo was a thing, it was Clamp.
Yes.
You always competed with Clamp. That was the thing in the early days before the Sakizos, and now we have Sakizos. So
yes. No, you're working on Hinoto. I'm about to start Yuko, a new one with my friend is Watanuki. So
nice.
Yeah. This will be my third Yuko.
She's amazing. I love her. I'm finally like at the right age to cosplay her. I should make a Yuko.
I'm a burned out adult.
Right? I identify with her so much now.
Just gonna sit there and drink sake and be jaded about everything.
Yeah, that sounds like I like this character profile.
Yeah, I love her. She's great, and she hangs out with magical creatures. I mean,
absolutely.
What better?
Right?
Line me up, okay?
Yeah, and she runs a little shop. She's a time witch. I mean, she's amazing.
Yeah, she's pretty
fantastic character. I'm not tall enough to be her, but
big shoes, I guess. I mean, no one's tall enough to be a Clamp character.
They're so long.
They're so long.
Like
they would be
like
long arms. They'd be like 8 feet tall if you like measured them out. Like it's not.
But we love them.
We do.
We love them.
We do.
Yes, I could go on about this all night. Okay, old school. Favorite? We all have to, like we said, the Sailor Moon love. But as I went with for today, the Slayers. I absolutely
also a favorite.
I have wanted to be Lena Inverse since I was like 13 years old. She's great. It's such a fun anime. I actually got to meet Eric Stewart, who voices Gallery. Everybody knows him as Brock from Pokemon, but I took him a Slayers DVD and his eyes just went, he looks at me and goes, that's my favorite role I've ever done. I'm like, yes, I won the con. I was so excited. I love that show. It's really serious, but really stupid all at the same time.
Yes.
It's great.
I love Slayer. I forgot how much I love Slayer. I'm working on Lena hopefully this year too. So
I want to do a full Pauldron's cape.
Yes.
All of her stuff. She's
shoulders so big you can't fit down the hallway.
No, that I learned with wings to walk sideways through cons.
Yep,
so you do the crab walk.
Like an Egyptian.
Yep. Yeah, you learn to like sidle. It's really an interesting move. As cosplayers, we learn to move in really strange ways.
The
very
writer in
true.
me is absolutely thrilled at you using that word sidle. Like, I'm thrilled. That is not a word you hear very often. Well done, Andrea.
As an avid reader, then I will take that compliment. I'm also trying to keep my cat from knocking everything over. Hermes is trying to be on the show.
Oh, baby.
So cute.
Hey, there's your buddy Kelly. There's your buddy
I
Kelly.
miss you. I miss you. I miss the snuggles.
He's not getting enough attention. He's dying down here, y'all.
I mean,
He's
that
literally been in
is
my lap.
that is a
Yeah.
real affliction that cats die from.
I
Okay.
really, if he was a little shorter haired, he needs a little moon on his forehead. And even though he's a boy, I could pass him off as Diana. And
Yes.
as a Sailor Moon fan, I always wanted a Luna, Artemis, and Diana. So he's pretty close. He's fluffy.
So cute.
Yeah, he'll try to steal the show. This is not the Hermes show, buddy. He's just
It could
whipping
be.
me with his tail. Apologies. Getting whooped by a cat tail. Okay,
So
buddy.
for me, it's Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh.
I have to admit, I have not watched as much anime as a lot of people, so I'm kind of.
It's okay.
But my husband is a huge anime buff, and he got me into Full Metal Alchemist when we first got together, and it's just such a beautiful plot line. It is not a light plot line, but
No.
oh, I love it. So I was pretty excited when I realized I could closet cosplay Winry because I love her.
She's great. The manga is one of my absolute favorite works of fiction. Like my brother and I have said, it's not just a good manga, it's not just a good comic. It's a good work of fiction. She wrote such an amazing story, cool characters. Characters that are in one chapter have a full history. Like they're well fleshed out. You feel like you know them for what little time they're in there. It's amazing.
It's just such a beautiful story that really gets to the heart of grief, family love. And it also is a commentary on like the military and
I mean, it's basically like an alternate, almost Nazi state, but not quite as extreme. So yeah, it's definitely she threw some politics in there with the fun.
it's wild. It's a very deep story. Still one of my favorites.
Oh, it's so good.
I was very happy that I could just like throw this together because I was like, okay, the only anime costume I have is Sailor Mars and Punk Sailor Mars, and I just wore Sailor Mars a few months ago. Which, Sailor Mars is always fun.
She's always fantastic. We love us some Sailor Scouts around here.
Heck yes.
But, sometimes you want to go a little different. Everybody, when they think old school, Sailor Moon usually is one of the first things they think of. And so it's kind of fun to go in a little deeper and find the other stuff. So
agreed. So we do have a comment from Cool Gamer. So hello, Cool Gamer. I think that's supposed to say hello, guys. So
or we're gutsy one.
Maybe. I mean,
pretty gutsy. So Elle, how did you get into cosplay?
So I started in 1999. And I am in the Midwest, so like the Illinois, Iowa region. So at the time, the convention was Anime Central. We had Anime Central, we had Anime Iowa, and that was it. Because there were not like a convention every weekend back then. Like you went to one or two a year. There just weren't very many. And one of my friends had discovered that conventions existed, and so she was like, "We should go to a con," because we had already she had discovered anime, I think, through another friend. We had bootleg VHS that we would watch of various things. The VCDs that you could order on eBay. I had Escaflowne VCDs. I remember that.
I am feeling very old right now hearing all of this because I had the same stuff.
So we went to Anime Iowa and I had this thrown together Neptune costume. There weren't wigs. So I used that weird color gel that you used to play with when you were a kid to make my hair blue, but I'm blonde, so it was green because I had blonde, very curly hair, that was long back then.
No.
And I got like a skirt from Goodwill and like a V-neck t-shirt and like glued a handkerchief up for my, oh goodness. It was
We all
something.
started somewhere.
You have to start somewhere, you know. And back then it wasn't really about craftsmanship. It was just about having a costume. Like even contests weren't about craftsmanship. It was more about the performance and just having a costume.
Right.
So there really wasn't that focus.
Now,
It
is
was
that
how
one of the
many
things that-
costumes can you
me?
make and how many can you wear because you have one con a year.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah, you'd like do 6
Did you send
costume
that
changes in a
picture to us?
day.
Well, did you send that picture to us?
So that one I can't find it. But you have my one of Fam from Ruin Explorers that has the staff. That was my second costume.
You know about Ruin Explorers?
From Anime Central. Yeah, talk about niche. Ruin Explorers, where you could only ever watch the first half because no one could ever find the second half.
Mm-mm.
So I've seen the 4 episodes. Well, like I
Yeah.
also cosplayed from Haunted Junction. I don't know if you've, yeah. Classic.
No, we were the kids that were going to like Blockbuster and stuff on Fridays when we would spend the night with each other and just rent random anime. And half the time it was like the middle episodes of a series. So you didn't even know what was happening.
I just used to buy really random anime at con, and it was like, well, this box set's cheap, so I'm gonna buy it. We're gonna see what it is.
Man, I'm telling you, I remember when Naruto came out, we had the bootlegged, like fan subbed DVDs from the back alleys of the internet.
Yes, we had the VHS versions of those for various.
Yes.
For that's how we had Sailor Stars. Was bootleg VHS.
I still have like official actually VHSs of Sailor Moon, Gundam Wing. Oh, probably Dirty Pair Flash.
Yes.
Yuri is still on my cosplay list. I love Dirty Pair Flash. That anime is crazy. The Sorcerer Hunters.
Yes.
Oh, all of those. I could go on for hours about stuff. I joke with like all these like kids that I work with now in retail, and they're coming in with like their Dragon Ball Z and their Naruto shirts, and I'm like, okay, I've probably forgotten more anime that I've watched than you've watched ever. I'm just like, one day I sat down to make a list, and I couldn't remember. I was like texting friends, like, did we watch this one, or was that a fever dream? We watched so many random ones, and some it took us forever to find the name again because all we remembered was like one really random part.
Yes, I hate that.
And some of them feel like a fever dream.
Yes.
Well, some anime basically was.
That's
like
true.
I'm pretty sure they were created from someone's fever dream.
Yeah.
It was the Wild West of early American anime collection. It was an interesting time.
Okay, so Elle, So Elle, what's something that you have to have in your cosplay workshop at all times?
Oh, trying to think of besides the obvious one, which is your sewing machine. One of the things that I always have for cosplay is toupee tape. Because obviously its original design is to, keep someone's toupee on, but it works for like literally everything. Wardrobe malfunction, toupee tape, split seam, toupee tape.
It's some strong stuff.
It's great stuff to have. It's awesome. It works way better than any fashion tape I've found. So
yeah. It's made to stand up through literal like heat on your head and all that. It's gonna hold up.
That it does.
Put your wigs on too.
That's also true. It does work. It has held on some pretty back heavy wigs for me before. So.
And you've made like some huge wig builds. Yes. What was the one that you recently made?
I did Judar from Magi. That's what we took to the International Cosplay League in Spain was Magi, which is also like borderline old school because that's like 2004, I think, 2006, somewhere like that for Magi. Judar has a massive braid looking ponytail. But the ponytail is actually not connected to my head. It's connected to my back.
That's so smart.
So there's
I
no
was
weight
gonna
on my
say-
head at all. It's
Yeah.
connected to that center part of your back is like your stronger part of your back. There's a rigging system in there instead.
Nice.
Save
So
your
do
neck.
you want to talk about doing the international competition in Spain? I would love to hear stories.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. So, as you do sometimes, the more deep you get into competing, the more ridiculous you get. And in 2019, Ash and I decided to go to Youmacon to compete in the international preliminaries for ICL. And we won the US title to go. So you compete against other duos that are attempting for the title. And it is a performance and craftsmanship contest. So it's roughly like, I think it's either 60-40 or 50-50 between the two of them.
Wow.
And if you get the title, then you go to Japan Weekend Madrid in Spain, and you are one of 11 countries that compete for the international title. So definitely different experience from staying in the United States. We had to like fly a set and fly our costumes to Spain to participate. It was awesome. I mean, we've never done a contest like that. It was amazing. The contestants were out of this world. We made so many friends. Like that was the best. Now we have friends in like all these different countries that we never would have met.
Cool.
Like it's definitely a kind of intense process, but then once you're there, I don't know, it's really cool. I don't know how else to explain it. It's a lot on the way there, and then once you're there, you're like just in it, and you get to do all these cool things, like go to an Akibara themed sushi cafe while you're in Spain with 10 other countries. And everybody speaks like different versions of each other's languages, so you're all trying to like talk to each other and no one knows what anybody's saying. And yeah, it gets everybody's pulling their translator apps out like, what? I think I caught part of that. What was that? You know. Yeah,
I love that so much.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
I highly recommend, if you're a contest junkie and you've been competing for a while, to try out one of the international options. It's definitely an experience that you're never going to forget. Like, yeah.
I'm so proud of you guys for getting that far. That's
Thank you.
Incredible.
It was hard to wait 3 years because of COVID. We were supposed to go in 2020. So
And
we
then
didn't
the
go,
pandemic
we didn't go till this past fall. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah, it was a long wait. It was 2 months shy of 3 years.
That's wild. But yeah, that's what happened.
I mean, things happen, you know.
Safety first.
Safety is important. You know, we still ended up doing it. We did the thing, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
The skit thing is what always gets me. I'm like, let me show off my costumes as much as you want. Let me present it. I get on the stage. I'm like, I can't do these skits. I can't. Like my anxiety and stage fright go, nope, walking on that's for you. Just walk.
We don't know how to do contests that don't let us do a skit. We've never done walk-ons. We don't know how.
I've only ever done walk-ons.
We're like, there's not a skit option. We don't want it.
Makes sense.
Like we're performers. I mean, we get hired at cons to do variety of performance work. We are crafters, but our heart is, we are those theater children still, you know, deep down. And so we're like, what are we gonna do the day we do a walk-on contest? Like, because I don't know if we talk about doing Crown and we're like, we don't get to do a skit in Crown. What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, how do I do this?
Yeah. No, I'm the theater kid. I was the backstage theater kid.
Yes.
I was the one that dreamed of being on stage, and then my anxiety went, no, honey, you're not doing that.
That's fair. I mean, it's even no matter how much you do it, you still get those butterflies.
Oh yeah.
It takes a while to get like accustomed to it. You know, we're at a point where we're so old, we're like, whatever. You don't like it, That's fine. I don't care. We had fun.
I definitely feel
good.
that being I feel like the old grizzled like mentor of the mentor in the anime at the point I'm at in my life. I'm 40. I've been doing this for 21 years. I'm just like, I'm that one like the meme of like Obi-Wan at the bar, looking at the kid going through like their 6th costume change of the day, and you're just like,
Yep.
no.
Yep. It's very funny because when we go to cons, we get a lot of our listeners will come up and talk to us about the show, and then they realize we're almost at 25 years of cosplay,
Yeah.
and they're like, you guys
Oh,
been doing this longer than I've been born. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's true.
And then you're
You're
just
like,
like,
thanks,
well,
thanks.
I'm like, I could be your parent. This is true.
Mhm. Yeah, like my friend who does Artist Alley stuff, like she refers to some of the like younger ones as her kids.
Yes, we
And
do
I've
that
known-
sometimes.
And I've known her since she was like a little kid. She's like 9 years younger than me, and I'm over here going, wait a minute, you are 31 now. They are kids to you.
Right.
I'm like, oh no, we're all growing
Does that make
up
them your
and old.
grandkids then?
I guess I'm the weird like older aunt.
There you go. You're the fun aunt.
I was the one that she and one of their other friends bought me a con mom badge at Acon
cute.
one year. I'm like, yeah. Have you hydrated? Have you eaten?
That's me.
Have you slept?
We're always feeding people in the green room when we do a contest because I always
Yeah.
bring snacks. And then we're always like
Yes.
feeding people and like fixing people's costumes and being like, oh, honey, do you need help? Let me help them with that. Because we don't.
Yeah. And you're watching them over there like in these big, heavy costumes, and they're over there like, you're like, have you had water?
Mhm.
Please, have you had some water? Just
Like, can we get you anything? Like, do you
Like,
need
some
help?
crackers,
Do you want some food? We have some food. Can I
Yeah,
feed you?
I feel that. I feel that very deeply in my soul anymore.
But you need the people that do that, right? That's how we support our younger generation because we
I feel like
need
I
the
was
younger
doing that-
generation, right?
Yeah, I feel like I was even doing that when I was like 21,
That's also
22, and
fair.
I'm like, I guess I'm just old soul or something.
Aw.
I've got no kids. I take care of everybody else's kids.
There you go.
The world needs people like you, though. Like,
True.
yeah,
The
world
con
needs the wine
parents.
ants.
Yeah, I'll be the wine aunt to my actual nephews.
That too.
The
So
fun,
we
weird
are
one.
we're at the halfway point, which means it is time for the cosplay catwalk. And Elle, I know you're in the corner, so you're gonna
I
be
am. I'm literally trapped in a corner. Because then I don't have to worry about making sure that the space behind me is cleaned up. ADHD hack. I set up my recording literally in like a corner of a room, so I don't have to worry about it. But that also means I can't move very much.
I'm in the corner
We-
sort of too, so I feel it.
feel this. Like,
we're all of the same mind here.
Oh, good. Okay, that works.
yeah, all three of us, baristas, also ADHD. So we get you. You should see, like, I have a slightly bigger area that's cleared out for right now. For some reason, it stayed that way. And I have children. I don't know how. I don't know why.
I have
Good for
I have a
you.
haunted mirror behind me. So
I know, right? It will not stay that way forever, believe me. But
But it's
I'll
there
go first.
now.
It's there now, and it's beautiful, and I love it. And I'll enjoy it while it lasts. I'll go first because we never make the guests go first because that's
Never.
just mean.
we're mean but not cruel.
Exactly. So I'm too sexy for my cosplay. I'm too sexy for my cosplay. So sexy, it hurts. I'm not wearing shoes, so there's
We
nothing
even
to show
have
there.
it on our mugs.
Oh, that's cute. That's cute.
Yes.
That's very cute.
All right. Andrea, do you want to go next, and then we'll
I'll
save the
go
best for
next.
last?
What little bit I can move in my corner as well.
Andrea's too sexy for her cosplay. She's too sexy for her cosplay.
Very simple today.
You're also rocking some hot girl colors.
Yeah.
I am, and actually, my friend Heidi was dressed as Hawk Girl earlier today when I was at Le Bonheur. So
Nice.
I've got
Lena
hot
had
girl on the
some Hawk
break.
Girl
this week.
colors happening. So
I just received a 3D printed Hot Girl helmet, so I've got Hot Girl on the brain.
Ooh.
That's okay. She's a good character to have on the brain.
Mm-hmm. I have to
Hermes
paint it,
wants to
but
show off his costume. He's Diana for y'all, so.
Baby.
All right,
Okay.
Elle, go ahead. Show
Okay.
us what you got.
Show us what you
Right.
can.
This is what
Elle's too sexy for her corner. She's too sexy for her corner.
Love it.
I love that wig.
It.
Sparkles.
Yes. We love sparkles. Once again, ADHD
am
brings
full
us
of it.
sparkles.
Yes, it's covered in rhinestones and beading on the bottom because extra.
You know, why just use pretty fabric when you could also put pretty stones on the pretty fabric?
I don't know how to not put rhinestones on things anymore. It's
You should see, my sister shows horses. You should see her rhinestoned out jackets that weigh like 20 pounds. Like literally she has some that like I could do weightlifting with.
I believe you. I believe you.
Or
Yeah,
some people
ever-
are crazy.
After doing No Flutter Harley, she's at like almost at 12,000 rhinestones, I think.
Okay, I'm really
For
bummed that I
Harley?
did not. No Flutter was at the Atlanta Steampunk Expo, and I didn't know she was going to
Ooh.
be there, and I didn't go this year like I did last year, and I'm really upset about that because I love No Flutter's art.
I know.
I want to cosplay some of her art so bad.
It's very pretty and they're very sparkly.
And you know, you might drive yourself completely insane, but worth it because her designs are so gorgeous.
I mean,
Sparkles
rhinestoning can be
make it.
therapeutic. It's pretty relaxing. So
Get you a little hot fix.
yeah, you just
rhinestoner. Just kind
It's
of
okay.
mindlessly putting rhinestones on everything.
I mean, I don't know that I recommend doing all your pinstripes and rhinestones like I did.
sounds like something I would have done.
It's very pretty,
tedious.
but it's very tedious.
That sounds
But they-
awful.
But I have blessed rhinestone seam in the back of her skirt because they line up. So
Oh
there's
my
a blessed
God.
seam.
The
Wow.
lining up. There's just something
It-
about when that
Ew,
fabric.
they line up and it's just like, oh, look at
Oh,
look at
You
if
hear
the
the
lines kept
angels
going, they would
singing.
meet. Blessed seam. Okay. It pleases me.
That's impressive.
It's a thing with crafting cosplayers is the blessed seam when you have like the beautiful seam that like when you have like an X seam or like something that perfectly
Yes.
lines up, it's the blessed seam, and then you share your
Oh,
blessed
yes.
seam and it like
it's one of
blesses
those
your
in-
crafting.
You're like in judging. You're like, look at this.
Yes,
Look at this right here.
look at my seams that don't exist 'cause you
Worship
can't see
me.
them.
Yeah. Oh no, my brother jokes that artists go draw it, let the cosplayers figure it out
They
because
do.
there's no seams, there's nothing.
I think they just are purposely at this point trying to make our life. Genshin Impact is trying to make our life
Yes.
difficult. Let's put it that
They
way.
know we're gonna do it and we're gonna cry, but we're gonna
Yes.
be proud of our work when we're done.
All of them are just meant to make us cry.
Yes.
That's the whole purpose of Genshin Impact costumes.
I think they have a running bet to see who can make a design that no one will cosplay because it's too hard.
And the thing
it
is
feels like
cosplayers,
that.
but cosplayers go, challenge accepted.
Someone's gonna figure it out.
Yep.
Like somebody, you may look at something and go, that is impossible. Someone at some point's gonna figure it out.
Yeah. Because we're gluttons for punishment.
Mm-hmm.
I said we've come a long way from thrifted quick things to full suits of armor and ball gowns with 10-foot trains and all the hand beading and everything. Yeah, we've come a long way.
I mean, I still like me a thrifted costume here and there. Do that every once in a while.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes
nice.
you just want to be comfy.
Well, right, or you just don't want to make it.
Yep.
Which
Yeah.
I
It's
buy
not
stuff.
It does not make you less of a cosplayer if you
Mm-mm.
don't make your costume.
No.
I
Yep.
hate the people that gatekeep it and go, you didn't draft your patterns and make it from scratch. You're not a cosplayer. It's like, no, baby. They put on a costume. They're a cosplayer.
There are many, 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 many different definitions of cosplay, and you do not have to make your costume. I love being able to buy a costume every once in a while and be like, I want to wear this, but I do not want to make it, and that's okay.
Yep.
I told them doing this show made me do that because I need to make everything from scratch. I'm like, we have a different theme every 2 weeks. I am not crafting a costume every 2 weeks if I don't
No.
have it. So I've been teaching myself to back off and go, you don't have to make everything. You can reuse pieces.
Yep.
My brain was not for it at first, but now we're doing it. So
Well, and there's a creativity in thrifting costumes too.
Definitely.
That like you don't always think. I'm doing. Speaking of a throwback, do you remember the Rescuers Down Under?
of
I
course,
love the Rescuers Down Under.
I am doing a
love that
princess
movie.
version of Joanna.
I've been watching your build on that, and I'm so excited for it.
My photo shoot is
Since you're
Monday,
fine, so.
so her photo shoot is Monday.
Yes.
But it was just a joke with some friends, and they was like, "Well, Joanna's best Disney princess," and
Yes.
it may have been Laughing Rat actually, who was like, "I dare you to make a Joanna
That
costume," and I'm like,
sounds like her.
"Done,
Yes.
done." So her like harness is these giant red gems, and she's got rhinestones, and my egg is covered in rhinestones.
Yes.
But it
I
was like a
cannot wait to
nice
see.
creativity exercise. I didn't have to worry about like sewing anything. It was just like, how can I make this a thing? And it's kind of nice.
That creative license is the best part of cosplay. It does
Mhm.
not have to be a photo perfect replica. I love people that do their own twists and takes on their costumes. It's so much more fun. Like I do love a good screen accurate or book
Mhm.
accurate costume, but to see somebody that, like you said, Joanna is now a princess, or or do the gender bends and that kind of stuff. I love the creativity that people put into their work. It's so amazing, and you learn things from them. You get so many ideas seeing other cosplayers, and it's great.
Absolutely. I mean, we all learn from each other. No one's too old to learn from someone else. So we learn
Yeah.
from people constantly. I learn all sorts of new things from the new kids, just as much as like those of us have been around forever.
I love judging cosplay contests because
Absolutely.
I learned so much. Did you see our comment?
Oh, yes. Yeah, we need to share these. Okay, so your pal Palpatine is our friend Fred. He says hello. And then he
Fred
says,
is amazing.
You kids, when I was growing up, we watched Battle of the Planets and
He's over here shaking his fist in his front lawn right now.
You darn
Palpatine
kids.
And he says, I find a lot of costumes you can buy off the shelf are a good base that one can use to make a better costume with just a little extra work. I fully agree.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, some like the quality of a pre-bought costume has gone up so exponentially because cosplay has become a household word. Even 5 years ago, finding a really good pre-made one could be iffy. But now it's just everybody knows the word cosplay. I used to have to tell people I make costumes, and it's not a lie, it's not wrong. But now I can say I cosplay, and people know what you're actually talking about.
It's so nice. And there's certain sites that I know I can go to and I'm guaranteed to get a decent mid-level costume. Like it's not going to be movie accurate, but it's going to be, you're going to get what you pay for.
Right.
And then, but I'm amazed that if I hit up like a Halloween Express after Halloween, the treasures I can find that I can
That's
build on.
gone up so much in quality in the Halloween stuff. I'm still not going to buy a Halloween wig. No, they're paper thin, but the costume, especially the accessory pieces you can buy from the Halloween stores, are great.
Those are incredible.
They make great bases.
With just a little paint job, some extra work, fantastic piece, and nobody has to know it came from the Halloween store, or you can tell them it came from the Halloween store.
Man.
No shame in that.
I'm Midwestern. I love to tell people when I only spent like $5 on something.
Oh yeah.
Hell knows.
It's about the equivalent of a woman going, it has pockets.
Yes. I mean, I also like to do that every time I remember to put pockets in my costume. It has pockets. It's always in our build book. If we have pockets, there's at least one picture that says it has pockets somewhere. Because I just assume that as someone who judges, my judges will also appreciate that comment because I would think it was funny.
Yes. Oh yeah. We love a pocket.
You gotta love a pocket.
Pockets are the best. Like you cannot get too many.
You don't know how lucky you are, men, with all your pockets.
Right?
Spoiled men. It's okay. It is Women's History Month, so
Yes, this is on. Hey, it's on a topic.
That's right.
I'm still mad at myself because my Batgirl belt is rubber. So it should have pockets and it doesn't. So my Batgirl costume has no pockets. And I'm like, how did I play myself out of the costume with the utility belt?
yeah.
No. What?
No, it's like when I made my Captain Carter last year, and then I went back and rewatched What If, and I saw her stealth suit had the cargo pockets. I added those so quick. I was like, cargo pockets.
Yeah.
I was so excited about those cargo pockets.
So this is my husband saying, I do know how lucky I am with my pockets. Yes, yes, he does.
Well,
Good.
you're a different breed of man.
Right?
I mean,
You are one of the good ones, sir.
I love when I cosplay men and I get pockets. It's great. Like full on real pockets. I'm like, I have actual. Judar has massive pockets because those pants are huge. So they're just pockets for days. Like, so I have to take all of because Ash did Kogoku Ren. So I have to take all of her stuff and put them into my pocket.
this is very true. So Fred says, I don't know. A lot of my costumes don't have pockets either. A lot of those pockets, I know what you mean. I love the costumes I have that do have pockets. A lot of men's costumes, especially the pre-made ones, do not have pockets either.
Yeah.
It's true. I've had to put them in.
Mm-hmm.
Like my Demon Slayer costume, like these huge pants, they didn't put pockets in them. Like these pants are made for pockets. So had to put pockets in it.
His pants were made for pockets.
That's
just
what they'll do.
We are really good at taking classic songs and making new versions.
Oh, good, because we also do that frequently.
I mean,
just in life
I'm
in
too
general.
sexy. I'm Too Sexy literally started out as us going, well, we don't have the rights to this song, so, and then the words just got changed every episode, and here we are now. It's our
I thought it
slogan.
was very funny in the first episode, and then we realized it was just going to be a thing, and we had to do it every episode.
We're one of those people that we took a joke and we ran a marathon with it.
I mean, our mascot is a refrigerator, so I can't talk.
Gosh, is it because of women in refrigerators?
Nope.
Okay, good.
Our mascot is Phil the fridge.
Oh,
Do not call him Philip. That is his father's name.
Phil the fridge. I love it.
So it before we did the podcast, it was a comedy show that we would do at conventions. And one of the things we would talk about is the one time when we were running a contest, someone asked us if they could have a refrigerator for their skit. And something we would ask the audience what they would do with a refrigerator for their skit. And then at some point at C2E2 one year, it evolved to like, you guys should have a refrigerator, like at the con. And then we were like, well, what should we name it? And one of the audience members yells, Phil the fridge. And it was the show we did at C2E2 that was like 2 weeks after the podcast aired. And it was like, okay, we have a refrigerator and their name is Phil. And now Phil comes to con with us. We have a toy fridge that's named Phil. That comes to our
makes
shows.
me so happy. That's the greatest thing ever. I love inside stories like that. They're so great.
I think more people were excited to meet Phil at Anime Milwaukee than us. Everybody's come running to our table like, it's Phil the fridge.
Okay, so do you have Phil the Fridge merch?
We will.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of might need a Phil the Fridge sticker to put on my car.
We currently have magnets that are like the name tags, and it says, hello, my name is Phil.
Yes.
I can send you guys some if you want. I can send you guys some stuff. So we have Phil, and we have our Con Crunchy cereal box that we also use for merch. But yes, we are making new merch this year because we're hoping to have some merchandise booths at cons for the first time in forever. So hopefully you guys will
team up and release an album.
So we promised our listeners that our 100th episode would be a musical.
Yes.
We are also at some point creating its working title is Cosplay the Musical. It won't be its actual title, but that also spiraled with our fans of the show is We were like, well, if we make it this far, we're gonna have to write a musical to like perform at cons. So now we have
You're
to.
like, well, we're in it now. We have to.
We're on season 4 and we haven't gotten canceled yet. So I guess we're probably gonna get to 100, which means we're probably eventually gonna have to write a musical. So.
Or you can just wing it. Just wing it.
I mean, that's happened.
So there you go. Just
we MC shows. That happens sometimes. We've had multiple audiences sing the Pokemon theme song with us. That's happened multiple times.
But can they do the Poke Rap? Can they do the Poke Rap?
I can't. Therefore, I can't have them do it because I don't remember it. But
I can't do all of it. My little brother can rap the whole thing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he's like, he's 35.
And it's a talent, right? It's a talent. I couldn't imagine trying to do that now with what, like 1,000-something Pokemon.
I know. I remember when there was only 150.
That's only I don't remember any of the other ones either.
The Pokemon rap with the 1,000.
There's no way.
You couldn't. It would take like.
It would be like listening to Freebird live, and there's just the solo just never stops. It would just be Pokemon for like an hour.
Now I kind of want to challenge Crayle to make her own Pokemon rap because
she'll do it.
Crayle does Pokeballs by Crayle. That's her business. So
all the Pokemon
to make a Pokemon rap and incorporate all the Pokemon, and it'll be like 30 minutes long. And Crayle's gonna hate me for this and love me at the same time.
I remember when there was only 150. I remember when they introduced Mew as 151.
Right? And it was a huge
we're old
deal.
Guys. Yeah. And now there's like
Farm remembers too.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember recording that before I would go to school because my brothers had to get on the bus, and it was like 1999 recording Pokemon on VHS before I went to school. And my Gundam Wing was all recorded on VHS from the Midnight Run because it was the less cut version. I had a crush on Duo Maxwell. I'm not even going to lie.
Yes. And while most people my age had NSYNC posters, my wall was covered in Gundam Wing.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I had a Duo Maxwell poster on the back of my wall, bedroom door. I painted the Epion on a friend's wall, full size, floor to ceiling Epion, because that was his favorite. Death Scythe Hell Custom was my favorite because Duo Maxwell.
So back in the day at Anime Central, Scott McNeil used to judge the Masquerade. So I have met Scott McNeil multiple times.
That's awesome.
I was the one con he was at. He was at Anime Weekend Atlanta in 2014, but his line was so ridiculous. And it's while I had judging for the cosplay contest when we entered. I didn't get to meet him, and I'm regretting not meeting the voice of Duo Maxwell. It's okay. I got to see him. I just didn't get to meet him.
Afar,
Yes, you're like, there he is, way in the distance.
I cosplayed Duo a few years back too. Because I love him.
That's what, like, in our viewer submission, Sarah sent us some. I'm surprised she didn't see, because she and her friend did Gender Bend Duo and Hero from Gundam, and she didn't send us those pictures. I'm gonna have to get her for that. She sent us other pictures, but not. Yeah.
Speaking of viewer submissions, so looks like the pictures uploaded all jumbled up, so I'm gonna just try to go through them. So Elle, your pictures are probably gonna be in here too.
Oh, it's fine.
Okay. Normally we go viewer submissions. We'll do our best.
It's all good. It's all good.
It's live. Live
I mean,
shows.
as the motto of our show is, if it can go wrong, it will go wrong. Yep. So it's all good.
So Andrea,
this is my oldest brother. He picked up his son from the hospital the day they released him, dressed like this.
That's fun.
Of course,
this was literally this Halloween. He goes, while I've got my hair long, I have to do this costume. And they released his son from the NICU on October 29th. And he wore this and showed up at the Halloween party with a baby and Android 17. So proud of my big brother. This was my cosplay partner for a decade until she moved to Japan. I love her. She got married. She's very happy, but I miss her every day. I made most of her costumes, but she did all of her wig work and everything. But she's the reason I upped my sewing game, because she would always come at me with like, "Hey, let's make this." I'm like, "That's a clamp costume. Great, here we go."
That's an accurate response.
She was the perfect little mom. Okay, when we said old school anime, I actually messaged Lester Candy Cosplay, and she's in Japan, so she said just take whatever pictures, and I had to use her Cutie Honey. When you think about old school anime, Cutie Honey. And so I was like, you were the first person I thought of. She's like, oh my God, thank you. I'm like, you do all this old school anime. It's so great. I love her stuff. She's so good.
Oh, Neptune.
This one Crayle sent us. Lee World's cosplay. Of course, we love a Sailor Moon cosplayer.
Always.
Any Sailor Scout, we love them. This is another one. I keep dreaming cosplay. I almost couldn't see the screen. It's another one Crayle sent to us to share.
Serenity dress. Oh.
We all wanted it.
Yes, Cowboy Bebop.
This is Sarah, and then Courtney Crawford is the Jet. He's also a very, very, very talented photographer down here. And then Ryan McCrory as Spike. He is an actor, and I used to do some theater work with him. He was our lighting director when I worked in theater.
Yeah,
so
I love their you need to send me these pictures because you got them and they fit. And these pictures are freaking amazing.
I mean, Sarah looks amazing in everything she wears. This is Cheshire S, and then her friends Kim and Courtney. I love that they did the Rurouni Kenshin group. Like, and the Sonosuke is actually a female. She had the chest plate and everything. It looks fantastic.
Wow. Holy wow.
Yeah. It's a really good. Then Scissor Wizard Cos, who has been on the show, Lori, and then Bree Neko and Rabbitine Cosplay doing Ray Earth. I want to do a Magic Knight Ray Earth group so bad.
Ray Earth, yes.
Yes. And Scissor Wizard and one of her other partners, they went to one of the other international contests. They were
C4.
Yeah. So they did that one and did some pretty great stuff. Lori is so talented. It's crazy. I've known her for several years now. She's fantastic. Quartz Kitty. Like Sierra is one of those prolific cosplayers I know.
Yes.
Yes. Oh my goddess. You don't see that as much as you used to.
Ash and I used to cosplay Erd and Scold quite a bit.
It's coming back. I'm starting to see people bring it back a little bit. All the old school stuff is coming back big time. Niche cosplay. This is another local cosplayer. I love Karama. I'm a big Yu Yu Hakusho fan. Yoko Karama is on my list.
Same. We have very matching lists.
I think so. we keep finding people that I think is my soulmate spread out across twinsies. Yes, lots of twinsies. And I love what they said is these. They said my Instagram name is Lord Butts a lot. Y'all go ahead and laugh. I was like,
it's fantastic. I love it.
No, fantastic costumes all around. Beautiful,
so good.
Beautiful costumes. Here we go. Now it's Elle's turn.
All right. So if you just want to talk a little about each costume.
Sure. So this is my No Flutter Hardly, actually. Who I'm finishing up some of the pieces on right now. But she was partially finished in like 2020 and has been sitting, so we're hopefully bringing her back out soon. But yes, all those stripes you see are in fact rhinestones.
Oh my goodness.
Because if you're gonna do it, be extra.
Yes, I was like, well, I feel like these pinstripes can't just be like ribbon, they need to be rhinestones.
Yeah.
So.
Of course. Hello, Vignesh. All right, let's.
This is Judar from Muggy. So this is what this is my costume that we took to the International Cosplay League. So he's very bored in this photo, but hey.
I love this head dressing in this too.
Oh, it broke out for a second. I missed it. What you said.
Sorry. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I love the set dressing here.
Yes. I work with a local photographer frequently who has her own studio. So this was like, I brought some fabrics in and I was like, what if we drape this around here and then we do this? And she was like, sweet. Okay. And then their makeup artist did my makeup for this particular shoot. So I have a little bit extra makeup, but
And your makeup looks fantastic.
thank you. And my foam bracelets. This is so this I have blah words. Hi. This is Oogie Boogie from Nightmare Before Christmas. But based off the design by Sunset Dragon, so I'm about 50% done with this one. There's still some prosthetics, prosthetic bugs, and some airbrushing that I need to do for like arm sleeves and a cape and all of this. But she glows in the dark. I got glow in the dark paint that charges, so it's not UV charged, it's just light charged. And so all her little bugs that I painted will glow depending on the intensity of the light. So it's all practical special effects instead of relying on like electronics. So that's kind of that angle I'm going with this costume right now, is I want everything to be like practical special effects. Kind of old school effects, actually.
Yes.
I am all for old school effects. Like
And the Sunset Dragon designs are always gorgeous too.
Speaking of Rare Earth,
Yes.
here's Hikaru. This is an old costume that I shot. Same photographer as Judar. And Oogie Boogie, actually. All the same photographer. I'm working on another version of Hikaru. The traditional red bibbed dress that you usually see her in is actually over this one when you look at the design. So I'm adding the part to this costume currently. But she was made so we could cosplay with Wig Small of Wig Cosplay like multiple years ago. So the three of us could like bounce around as Rare Earth goddesses.
Nice.
Love Rare Earth.
Mm-hmm. Oh, now we're going old school. Okay, so once upon a time, which you should have the giant group photo too in here somewhere, we decided to do Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust.
Love that movie.
2003. So this is baby me. I'm like maybe 18, 19 in this photo, I'm pretty sure. I did not make this dress. A friend of mine made it. Early on in my cosplay time, I was the skit writer, director, and usually the main actor, but I didn't usually make my costume. So that was my thing. But this is a stage shot from Anime Iowa 2023. Because we also did them at Anime Central in 2023 as well. So
nice.
Yeah, those costumes were insane.
They are bonkers. So back when you couldn't find a wig and you used your own hair, right?
Yeah.
This is Armitage. So super old anime movie about an android in like a post-apocalyptic world. This is probably like 2004-ish. You couldn't get wigs back then very easily. So a lot of times you would choose costumes you could use your actual hair for. So you didn't have to worry about like trying to find a wig. So her hair doesn't look anything like mine, but it was blonde, so it was close enough, you know.
Close enough.
All right.
There's Beryl. So we've got a theme going because this is also the same photographer that I work with here.
You find a good one, you stick with them.
I have an every other month package with her. So
That's so nice.
Beryl originally showed up in 2018 when a group of us won Best Craftsmanship at Colossal Con. So she was part of that group. We did the Cell Block Tango, but as the villains from Sailor Moon. It's on our YouTube. It's great. She is retired due to being so worn out from being worn. But if you don't know who Beryl is, she is one of the villains from Sailor Moon. So,
yes,
or misunderstood Beryl.
Yeah.
But shooting a castle, 10 out of 10. Do it.
I mean, why not?
This is a castle
Always.
that's like in the middle of a park in Iowa. It's like one of those little pillar castles. It's
Yeah.
just randomly in a park in like 45 minutes away from my house. It's
Nice.
so it's like, castle? Yes, please. Let's do it.
I love it.
This is also at the castle. And a barrel. The fun fact about this costume, the stones that you're seeing are actually insulation foam, the like stuff that comes out of the can.
Oh, the expanding foam?
Mm-hmm.
I love that stuff.
Yep, that's what they're made of. They weigh nothing. They look super heavy up close, but they don't weigh anything.
Yeah, my brother made a big prop for his wife out of that, and it's so much lighter weight than it looks like it should be.
It's
Yeah,
hard
that
to
stuff is
work
amazing.
with, but it's great stuff once you get it to like cooperate.
Yeah, once you learn it, it's not so bad, but that initial first time with it is not fun. It also burns very easy, so be careful.
It's also, it melts fast.
Yeah.
And it smells bad.
Uh-huh. Spray it outside, guys.
So talking about old school coming back, because
Yes.
Tokyo Mew Mew is back. This is probably 2004. So this was actually the first costume I made by myself. Like full everything made by myself. At this point, you were starting to be able to get a hold of wigs if you could find a costume shop. So some larger universities would have costume shops near them because they had like large theater programs.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was the first costume that I made 100% by myself. Like made the whole thing.
Nice.
So baby me. Oh, look, we're on stage. So you want old school that no one's heard of. This is the violinist of Hamelin.
I've heard of that one.
So every character is named after an instrument, and then they all carry around a prop that matches their instrument. So this was Anime Central in 2004? 4 or 6. I'm not sure. One of the two. Because I can't remember when Final Fantasy 8 was. So we had a group that was from like all over the world, or from all over the United States, that would chat via Yahoo group, and then decided to do a skit every year at Anime Central. So that was this group. We won best props for our extremely oversized props, and then the next year ASIN made rules about props. There's a theme.
You're like, I'm the reason for that.
We suspect a lot of ASIN's rules are because of our group. For multiple
It's
reasons.
me. I'm the problem. It's
You're
me.
the problem.
I love it.
So I played
All right.
Princess Flute for this. And there's Renoa. So this would have been, I believe, 2006, I think, is when we did Final Fantasy, now that I think about it. So I did a skit with my boyfriend at the time as Squall, and we won Scott McNeil's Judge's Choice Award for Best
Nice.
Performance.
Oh, very cool.
But yeah, it's so we start finding wigs,
Yeah.
Hinoto. So I'm really excited to put Hinoto that I'm making now next to this one when it's done, because there's going to be a 20+ year gap
Yeah.
between those costumes, and it's going to be really neat to
Ooh.
see what they look
I will
like
say-
next to each other.
When I saw this one in our email, I didn't even see the whole thing up. I was like, it's Hinoto. I'm like, it's for Max. I was like so excited.
I think my fabric total for the current one is 40 yards.
Yeah. It sounds like a
Think?
clamp yardage.
Yep. Yep.
It's definitely clamp yardage.
So of course this poor costume's made out of broadcloth and costume satin, because that's what you did in like 2004,
Uh-huh.
you know.
Yep.
And like the only wig that we could find from the costume shop that was white.
Yeah.
As you do.
Yeah. Those were the days.
That is how it was.
We crawled so you kids could walk.
Pretty much, yes. Yes. How I'm going to walk in 40 yards of fabric, I haven't figured that one out yet.
You
though.
don't. She doesn't move. She just sits there.
Well, I know technically she cannot walk, speak, or hear, or see, but
You can do all of those things.
she walks through dreams. So She walks through dreams.
Wait, oh, we already know this one. I'm sorry.
Oh, there's Maggie. So when you go to internationals, they put you on a giant, like, billboard thing in the convention center. We definitely cut it out and took it home with us.
I mean, why not?
It was UK's idea. I just happened to have the scissors, so they took theirs and we took ours. So we took them with us. So
I
it's
would want to do
currently
the same thing.
it's currently at Ash's house. It's about 10 feet tall. It's a lot. It's a lot of banner, but worth it. But that's
Definitely.
Ash as Kogyoku. So
Yes.
there's us as babies. So
Oh my gosh.
right, baby. I believe Ash is 12 or 13. In her photo, she's Jupiter, and then I am probably like 13, 14, somewhere in there, as Fam from the Ruin Explorers,
Yes.
which I totally made her jacket out of a t-shirt.
As you do.
Let's go.
As you do. Pretty sure I glued it together. So the staff was super
With
heavy
fabric
because it
glue
was
at
made out of
least?
who knows? It was probably hot glue. I mean, let's be honest. I know the staff is made of like plywood, so it's super heavy. We had like my friend's dad jigsaw it out, so we had a staff. Good times. Good times.
The good old days.
Helios
Aw.
and Princess Lady. Best ship. Best ship. I will never, ever, 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 ever make a Wicked Lady / Princess Lady wig ever again.
I was wondering how hard that wig was.
Oh, that wig was to get those buns to look like that was so hard. Because a lot of people will do them where they like put it through the top of the cone and then curve it down.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, it would wrap. Like
Yeah,
hair would
hers
be
were-
wrapped.
It was drawn to look like it wrapped.
So they're actually carved, oversized styrofoam Easter eggs. So I like started with Easter eggs and then carved them into the right shape and then covered them in like paint and then the wig fibers. But I've told Ash multiple times that when that wig finally dies, she's not getting another one. I'm not making it again.
That's why I go to
Yeah.
other friends. I have friends that do the wigs. I let them do that.
Well, and
So
I'm
I'll
the
make
wig-
all the fabric things.
I'm the wig person, so usually it's like, okay, but I've made a Sailor Moon wig and I've made one of these now, and I'm just like, no thanks. No
Like,
thanks.
no. Never again.
These poor costumes are so very retired now, though, because we wore them way too much. Because how
Like
can
you got your
not?
mileage out of them.
Oh,
They
we
were
did.
well
We
loved.
did. We took them to. They were in one contest, and we did Once Upon a Dream from Sleeping Beauty.
Hmm.
Like a little like dance thing, and I like my character proposes to her character, and then people actually thought we proposed to each other. So that was confusing to fix later. We definitely had a billion messages on our Facebook when like we got back to the room of people congratulating us because they thought it was real.
Oh,
Like,
Because it happens a lot. I've seen it
Well,
happen a lot.
But this skit was like turned up to 11 of campiness.
Yeah.
Like,
They were so invested in your story.
yes,
at that
I think
point.
I think they were. I think people really just wanted that to happen. So, so they were like, "Yes, they are finally," and we're like, "No,
we shipped it.
no, it was for the skit. We're sorry to disappoint you all." There's Violinist. So this is the first project Ash and I did together. So the girl in the brown sitting next to me is Ash.
Oh wow.
So I'm in the red dress and Ash is in the brown dress.
You were babies.
We were babies, but this is the first project we ever did together. And then we didn't see each other for like 8 years, and then we like reunited later. But this is the whole Violinist of Hamelin group.
That's how it started.
That is how it started. Yep.
I love it. Oh, we showed this one. Sorry, there's a few duplicates here because
There's
Alright.
my barrel with Ashes and Elle. So we had, when we did this project, we had like the 5 main villains for Sailor Moon. So we had Nehelenia, Beryl, Nine, Galaxia, and Diamond.
nice.
Yeah, it was a good time. This was our first Best in Show. So this is Sword Art Online.
That's coming back. I'm seeing that a little more.
It
coming back at
is.
some cons. So
we did Silica and Alicia. We definitely made a blue leather jacket out of not garment leather. Don't do that.
done that. It's not.
We bought totally the wrong kind of leather. We didn't know what we were doing when we made this costume set. I'm perfectly honest. This was way over our heads, and we were just like, "Woohoo, we can do this!"
You
But,
like most cosplayers,
right? But Pina the dragon is one of those robot dinosaurs. So during our skit, Ash would use the remote, and it would respond during the skit. So Pina had lines like that the dragon does, and then it had responses to our skit. So
Nice.
yeah.
Oh, and this is Delenn. This is Fred's daughter, and
Oh,
so he apologized to me after he sent it. It's her Genshin Impact cosplay, which is technically old school, but it's fantastic.
but she looks so cute.
So much. She's great.
There it is.
There's a
That
big
is a
group.
So once upon a time, we decided to do a skit at Anime Central with 21 people.
Oh my gosh.
That's almost an entire competition's worth of people.
It is the entire cast of Vampire Hunter D.
That's awesome, though.
These are people from all over the country. So we didn't rehearse our skit until we were at the con. And this was back when you had to do your audio live.
Yep.
So we did 21 people on stage. There was stage combat. And suddenly the next year at ASEN, you couldn't have 21 people or stage combat in your skit.
Was it not saying you caused that, but
Oops.
Whoopsies. And
I don't think I'll ever
Sierra's
do a
here.
project with 21 people, though.
Hi, Sierra.
That honestly sounds like a nightmare unless it's a full play. And
You know, it could have been a nightmare and it wasn't, and I'm still shocked that it wasn't. So, like, I feel like if we tried to do that now, it would be an absolute nightmare. But I
The
think
stars aligned for that one.
well, and the thing is, though, no one took contests super seriously back then. So there wasn't like this feeling of like, if we don't win or something goes wrong, like the world is ending. Like nobody took it that seriously. It was just like, we're all together, we're doing this cool thing. Yeah.
And I still love that about competition. Like I've gone to plenty and won plenty, and I've not placed in a few, and I'm just like, still had a good time. That's what I was there for. Like I saw somebody that went to anime or the Atlanta Comic Con last weekend. Beautiful costume, didn't place. And people like, oh, you were robbed. He's like, no, you should have seen the other costumes in the contest. I was just having fun. And so many people like now they feel like certain people have to win when they enter, and then get all upset. And while the person that didn't place is like, whatever, cool. Everybody else is like gonna storm the doors of the place, and it's supposed to be fun,
As someone who's been a judge, there have been people that have done that.
I've had people criticize.
do that.
No, I've had cons that I've judged, and I've had people criticize our decisions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, but we were the ones in the judging room judging the craftsmanship.
Yeah.
We saw what you didn't see. Yeah. But I've made some of my greatest cosplay friends in line for cosplay contests. You meet some really cool people, you talk shop, and you talk about nerdy things that you like.
Absolutely.
That's all it should be.
I mean, that's really the big benefit from it, because if you think you're going to become cost famous from winning contests, it's not really like there are certain contests, sure, but most not
especially
really.
Depending on the con. I mean, I've competed as big as Anime Weekend Atlanta, A-Con, stuff like that, and then I've competed at the smaller local cons, and I'm happy with the ones I've won, but it's not like I'm expecting people to start, lining up wanting to hire me for things and everything. I mean, great if you want me to come to your con. I'm
Right?
loving the people that have asked me to be a guest lately. That's awesome. But that's become the goal too much now.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of the fun we had, in the early 2000s
Yes.
when we're all like, I have $5 for my budget. Let's do this. We're all like a bunch of high school students or just out of high
Right?
school. No money, no skill to our name, but we're like, I can do this. And I miss that. Like that's why I keep the group of friends that I have, because it's not like I might stress myself, but the other people aren't like, oh, if you don't do this, you're not going to be, people aren't going to want your picture and everything. And I say this we all want our picture taken. If a cosplayer says they didn't want you to take a picture, they're lying. We want people to like what we've done, but that's not the goal.
Right.
Yeah. So I needed to go back to the fun roots that it had, that before everybody wanted to be famous on social media or be the cosplayer that gets invited to all the cons. Just have fun with it, people. That's what it's for. The word play is literally in there.
I think we forget that sometimes. Especially with cosplay's kind of taken the place of like when we were kids, everyone wanted to be an actor.
Yeah.
Now everybody wants to be, a YouTuber or a cosplayer. And when you do start to try to make your hobby a job, it does tear some of that fun out of it.
Yeah. I did commissions for a long time and I had to stop because I was getting overly stressed and tired and worn out on people going, oh, well, I need it by this day. And I said, oh, I have to have this much time. And, people not wanting to work with the budget you want and that kind of thing. So, yeah, I don't do it like I used to.
No, we don't take commissions for that reason. I'm like, I have trouble making stuff for myself and getting it done.
And on budget.
And on budget. I don't know that I could do this for somebody else.
And I almost feel guilty when I quote people because I'm like, that's so much money. But you have to cover the materials and your time and the years of work you've learned to learn the talent you have. It's a lot.
Your worth is important in whatever way in which you are, if you are, selling a service. Like,
yeah,
the value of your work is important and artists should be paid for their work. So
yes, too many people go, I can go to Amazon or eBay or this place and pay $25. And I look at them like, but it's not a bespoke piece. It's not made for you. It's an up and down. Some people get it and they're very willing to give you that amount. And others just want something quick.
Well, and then Amazon is perfect for those people.
And that's great if that's what you want.
Right.
But
if you want no harm, no foul. If you want an artist to create a unique piece for you, then you have to compensate that artist for their work. But we're very big on artists should be paid, cosplayers should be paid.
Oh, definitely.
As someone who's worked in the industry before, I know that exposure is a big thing, but you deserve to be paid. Like,
I said you can't pay the bills with exposure.
No, you can't. You shouldn't have to be out a ton of money to work something.
No.
Like,
the starving artist is not a goal in life.
No, it is not. And it's one of those where like it's okay to say no to.
Yeah.
Like if someone wants you to do a commission, it's okay to say no. If somebody wants you to guest at a con, but you feel like financially that's not going to be a great idea based on what they're offering, like, you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
As
much as you might want to get out there and do it, you really like we said at the start with you covering mental health, you have to think about that. And
you do.
A lot of people forget that in their quest for fame.
It's a very taxing world to work in the entertainment industry.
Oh yeah.
I was a talent agent's assistant for a long time in New York. After I graduated college. So I've been in and out as like a semi-professional performer in various capacities for quite a few 10, 15 years. And it is a very taxing world and it's hard to say no. It really is. Like opportunities come to you and you're like, but if I don't take this, what if something else doesn't happen? And eventually, we get to the point where it's like, but that's okay. I'd rather have, a handful of opportunities that I feel comfortable with than trying to do. We did 15 cons one year. 15.
That's a lot.
We'll never do that again because we didn't say no to it. We just kept saying yes.
Yeah.
It cost
I'm
us
sure
a
you
lot
were
of
exhausted.
It cost us a lot of money and a lot of time.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
it's like, and it was quite a while ago.
Yeah.
And now we're like, no.
And they wonder why like entertainers burn out. Why you see them, disappearing for a while.
Mm-hmm.
They need to recharge, and you don't have to be at the extreme celebrity level of fame for that burnout to hit you.
Exactly. It's a hard job to do this kind of thing like you guys do. It takes a lot to be up there in front of people and be in the public eye, and
And
when
to have
you're
that personality that they're expecting.
Yes, you gotta put on a show wherever you're at.
You can't be, I don't feel like it today.
You cannot, even when you really, 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 really want to. You may find Elle hiding backstage because she's tired.
Find them on the couch in the green room taking a nap.
You're counting how many more minutes until intermission so you can take a break because you've been on stage for 2 hours emceeing, which we love emceeing. It's like our favorite thing on the planet.
You still need a break.
You do. You need a break. Well, and I'm one of those people that gets overstimulated by social situations quickly, and like a lot of auditory input too. So like show floors are really hard for me. So we typically make sure we have like a room at a con because I have to like step out. So like boothing is hard because I can't always escape. So we're working on that balance, but you have to take care of you.
Yeah. I get that overstimulation. I get sensory overload.
Yes.
And it came along, like I've always had it, but after some PTSD, it really can overwhelm, and you just have to be able to walk away.
Yeah. That nervous system is now heightened in that fight or flight. So your auditory and your tactile are going to be much more sensitive because they are directly related to that fight or flight response. Fun science. Noise canceling earbuds are your friend. I would not like C2E2 is the loudest con I've ever been to. I would not survive without those.
It's
so loud. I blame the carpet.
Why? I mean, I know why. It's the floors.
Right. Well, and we know the carpet didn't actually solve that problem. It's just funny to be like, bring back the carpet.
Yeah.
It's so loud. And then the DJ.
Yeah. Oh my God, the DJ. It's so loud. They had a
title,
stage and a DJ last year. Like
why?
C2. So then we're trying to do the She-Prop panel in Cosplay Central, and I can't hear anything.
Oh no!
Like,
and the DJ has the bass turned up to 11. Like, why?
Well, and Japan Weekend was very similar. It's also like a warehouse, and I literally like could not function. So I just, because I have the noise canceling earbuds where if somebody's like near you or there's like you're listening to something that's not too far away, that's what you're going to hear. It filters out all the extraneous sound. So you only hear like the person who's talking to you, or like if you're watching a panel, you're going to hear the microphone, but you're not going to hear anything else because it's meant for concerts.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's really good for anything that's going through a speaker, because that's what the decibels that it's like meant to like catch. So
you need to get some.
But like if you're talking to someone like near you, you're going to hear them and not everybody else around you. Because all I'm going to hear is the 500 different sounds that are happening.
Yeah.
And so I can't, like, unless I can, masks were the worst thing for me because I can't read your lips. So I'm like, I don't know it's like, I don't know what they're saying on a TV without subtitles. I don't know what you're saying because you have a mask on. I can't hear you because you can't see your lips.
Yeah, it's already muffled to begin with. So even if you didn't have the headphones on, it's just.
So I feel like half the time I'm just going. Because I have
smile and nod.
And then I look at Ash and go, what did they say? Because I don't know.
That's why you have a partner.
It is. She has to translate for me because I can't hear them. So. And it's like, my hearing's fine. I know it's an auditory processing issue. It's just like, you know.
Same.
To each his own. That's how it is. You gotta deal with it how you deal with it.
It's right. And it's fine to do that. Like, pick fabrics that are comfortable for you. Don't pick fabrics that irritate you. Even if the irritable fabric is more accurate, who cares? It's your costume. Like, you want it wearable. Most of my costumes are lined in cotton, even if that doesn't make sense, because I hate the feeling of satin. I hate it. It's icky.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's icky. I don't like it. It's icky. This one's lined in cotton because it's got the skirt is attached to like a tank top, so it's a dress, and then the vest goes over it because the vest is taffeta, and I don't like how it feels.
Taffeta.
So,
I love the look of taffeta,
but I hate how it feels. Harley's the same way. She's taffeta and bridal satin, but she's cotton lined because I don't like anything that isn't cotton against my skin. Judar's lined in cotton. They're all lined in cotton because I don't like. And then I like to make my cotton liners removable so you can wash it.
Yes.
Hinoto's
nice
also lined
there,
that
guys.
way. Yes.
So smart.
Removable lining is super handy with silk costumes because you can't wash the silk, but you can remove the lining. So Judar has a removable lining for both his pants and his shirt.
And half the time you end up with all the stuff on them that you couldn't wash even if the fabric was washable.
And that's the thing too. With the beads and all that stuff, you wouldn't be able to wash it anyway. So you just make the lining removable, and then it doesn't matter. So like the dress under this, I can just hand wash the dress, and it's fine because it's washable. So
see, if you stuck around long enough, guys, you got some cosplay hacks in here.
Right. So on that note, we're way past our time, which I really enjoyed this.
Worth it.
Elle, where can people find you?
We are pretty much anywhere on social media at Lavi Cosplay. And then you can also find links to the podcast through there as well. Our main social media is Instagram primarily. But we are also on any podcatcher and YouTube as well. So
excellent. And Andrea?
Fantastic. Easiest way is to find all of us on the linktree.com/cosplay cafe podcast. But mine is Media Rice on Instagram mostly. That's where I'm at the most. And Miss Kelly?
Yeah, like Andrea said, also linktree.com/Phoenix's cosplay has more links more specific to Crayle and myself. And it has the link to my Indiegogo, which I am going to roll an ad for it. Going to do a little self-promotion. And then after, we'll have the ad for our show sponsor. And other than that, we're out. So, Elle, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
It's been amazing.
This was a lot of fun. Thank you.
I enjoyed getting to nerd out about old school anime with somebody who's into as much as me. So this has been a lot of fun.
And everyone, I hope you all have a great weekend.
Hermes says bye-bye.
Hey there, I am Kelly Guentner, also known as Kelly Edwards, and this video is about Scorcher, the audiobook Indiegogo campaign. Scorcher is about Aiden, who is a superpowered woman who was recruited by a shadowy criminal organization when she was a child. Aiden wants out of the business when she falls in love with Marty, who's secretly a superhero. This is a story about love, redemption, the dangers of keeping secrets, and of course, superheroes and supervillains. We're raising the funding via Indiegogo to bring the story to life as an audiobook, and so I've selected passages to show off my amazing narrators and their talents. So enjoy.
Aiden had always imagined flying to be more exhilarating than this. Instead of soaring through the air with nothing else to do but enjoy the view, she was bogged down with memories as her life raced through her thoughts. As the icy expanse below rushed up to meet her, Christmases and birthdays and lazy Sundays flew through her mind, occasionally punctuated by the dying screams of her parents. She'd come a long way from being that little girl that was once found in the ashes of the family home, but there were times when she felt just as lost as she had then. She pulled the cord on her backpack, and a sharp tug yanked through her body. The echoes of laughter and snatches of screams disappeared once the ground's ascent slowed. Her mind cleared, and the past retreated to the hidden corner of her thoughts as she lightly touched to the ground. Once again there was only this moment, only this reality. All that remained was the mission. This was as it should be.
Now it was his job to back up Fantôme, one of his teammates, while she delivered the virus to the scientist. Speaking of the heroine, The woman with silvery hair and a ghost-like complexion approached him through the woods. She gave him a terse but polite nod. "Good to see you, Chill." "You too, Fantôme, though I'll be happier when this is all over with." "I'm sure you'll feel safer once the virus is destroyed. Are you sure you can trust this scientist of yours?" "I'm sure. The champion wouldn't have sent us to him if he didn't believe he could be trusted." Beside him, he thought he heard a chuckle. He looked over at Fantôme in surprise, but her face showed no signs of laughter. A hot sensation collided with Chill's back. It spread through his veins, and his skin prickled in pain. He groaned and received a fist to the gut. He fell backwards, his skin still tingling in pain. A flash of white light filled his eyes, and another pulse of heat impacted him. He tried to control the twitching from the second impact and directed a wall of ice at his attackers. Fantôme's face bent over him, melting into a tan skin tone, her hair darkening to a jet black. She reached into his suit and retrieved the vial. "Trust is for the naive."
Cosplay Cafe is sponsored by whycosplay.com, which is your one-stop shop for quality costumes and cosplay supplies. So click on the link in our show notes to get a 20% off discount. Or not, if you hate saving money. I don't know you. I don't know your life. Clicking on the link does help support our show. So, you know what? Just do the thing. Do the thing.